Hello, IoTeX community. What's up? How's it going? Happy Friday, December 10th. We have an awesome ecosystem spotlight for you guys today. One that I'm personally very excited about, an all-star cast of projects, starting with Cartesi, Covalent, Swash, IoTeX Pad, and Blade Warrior. And it's really going to give you a full taste of all the things that are going on in the IoTeX ecosystem across DeFi, across MachineFi, across GameFi, and all these kind of services and tools that underpin all the great projects that we're going to be talking to or onboarding. So, it's really exciting times for IoTeX as of late. We've been doing a lot of, partnerships with new projects and really filling out different pillars of the platform. And that's exactly why we do these ecosystem spotlights, is to connect the projects that are building on IoTeX with the community that's going to be using their products, as well as developers now that are going to be using these new services. So, we have 5 or so people joining us today, a little bit more than before. So we don't have a little presentation or a special interview with someone outside of the IoTeX ecosystem as we normally do. But we're going to jump right into things with Cartesi in a bit. But just wanted to share, this week we ran a ideathon with Cartesi. And it was really inspiring to see all of the cool ideas that people had come up with regarding Pebble Tracker, right? This is the Pebble Tracker without the case. I think it looks pretty cool to see the guts of the device. But we received about 100 submissions in the ideathon. And earlier today, we announced the 5 top ones that the jury picked between Cartesi, Dutch Blockchain Week, and IoTeX. So definitely check out that recording once we post it up. We encourage you to participate in more of these ideathons going forward. So just to add a little more context to that, I have my good friend Bruno with us today from Cartesi. How's it going, Bruno?
Hey, Larry. Thanks for having me here today with you. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to all the IoTeX community. It's a pleasure to be here participating in this very exciting event.
Awesome. Yeah, Bruno, we've been chatting so much over the past months, I would say, right?
Yeah,
And every
absolutely.
time I talk to you, we have a great conversation and just like thinking
Yeah.
about all these different industries where IoTeX and Cartesi can really make an impact, right? But
hmm
before we dive into all of that, please give a short introduction about yourself and about Cartesi.
Oh, pleasure. So my name is Bruno. I'm the head of business development at Cartesi. My background is engineering, telecommunication. I I worked in Qualcomm several years and jumped into blockchain in 2017 and fall in love by the industry in 2020, joined Cartesi, this revolutionary project that is bringing finally an operating system to blockchains. So we believe that is a completely game changing on how we're going to see deployment of smart contracts, how smart contracts will be written, gives a lot of flexibility, a lot of freedom, and it's a bridge between, of course, the blockchain and the mainstream industry. Uh, Cartesi is, of course, much more than that. Is agnostic layer 2 infrastructure that augment the capabilities of the existing blockchains in a sense that scale not only computation, storage with our sidechain, and reduce transaction fees whenever it's applied, but comes with this virtual machine that offers an entire Linux OS. And the whole industry haven't understand or sunk yet on this concept because we never have before an operating system in any blockchain. And having so an operating system in a blockchain gives freedom of choice of programming languages, powerful libraries that you can leverage from Linux, from other codes and coders in the world, and that gives a huge gain on what it can do. And the ideas that we have been shared in our ideathon this week is just the tip of iceberg. What we can do together on changing this vertical, which is the IoT. And Cartesi, of course, being this operating system can connect in any possible verticals from gaming, DeFi, IoT, especially IoT, and others. So I'm pretty excited for what's going to happen in 2022, and really excited what we can do together as well along 2022. Excited
Absolutely.
to see.
Yeah, so Cartesi as this layer two off-chain computing environment, right? Maybe set some
Mhm.
context for the
Yeah,
viewers about.
so yeah, it's we are actually even more than that. Our new version of our infrastructure not only can execute computation off chain, as you correctly mentioned, that our initial infrastructure was doing, but with rollups, we are able to, in a simple way, execute the whole logic of a smart contract off chain, and giving a much more freedom to solution architects that coders can bring into the game. So you can literally implement an Uber off-chain using gel fence, for example, with a pebble tracker, and using the blockchain as a settlement layer for the important things that needs to be preserved on the security guarantees that the blockchain offers. No? So we are scratching the surface of what is possible, and I'm really excited to see Cartesi and IoTeX moving ahead, and as a layer two, providing all these extended capabilities to IoTeX ecosystem.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think it's really interesting to think about all the possibilities. And one of the favorite things I love about Cartesi is the ability to use this Linux-based virtual machine or operating system,
Exactly,
right? Where you can use
exactly.
Python scripts, you can use JavaScripts,
Whatever.
any type of programming language, right? Maybe talk about the performance benefits against, running things on Cartesi and how that compares to trying to do this on a Solidity smart contract.
So yeah, let's start with the basic. For example, if I want to open a file in a
Hmm.
Solidity environment, which file? We don't have a file system because we don't have we don't have an operating system. No? So it's not only the computation scalability that gives you times fold more capacity to execute complex codes, as you properly mentioned, but as well the whole environment that operating system offers, from different codes, from libraries, from leverage different programs. We are working on a demo game that is a poker that was written in C++. And for example,
Hmm.
machine learning with IoTX, we can use Python to run a linear regression, or to do a clustering analysis, things that would be very difficult or near impossible to implement on Solidity. Uh, and that is where the scalability of computational scalability and the other scalability elements, combined with the operating system virtual machine loaded with an entire Linux, gives this game changing. And our virtual machine is technically is fully deterministic. To see most probably some
Hmm.
devs on board here today with us, it's fully deterministic, and being fully deterministic through our dispute game resolution integration with the blockchain, we can guarantee whatever is implemented in our layer can offer the same secure guarantees of the blockchain is beneath us. That's the catch, and that is what's the powerful infrastructure Cartesi offers.
Yeah, absolutely. I have some slides here that I think will help to, these are ones that we presented during the Ideathon, right? And I think it's a little formulaic the way we think about it here, but it's worth the context to explain a
Mm-hmm,
little bit,
mm-hmm,
right? So we have some slides down here. Apologies for my laggy computer.
mm-hmm.
Streaming and loading is not always the best. But yeah, just this diagram I think really captures a little bit of what we're talking about. It's on
Yeah,
Google Slides.
partially, yeah, for
Wait a little
sure.
bit. Mhm.
You can get the ecosystem of IoTX from example Pebble, which is capable to generate trusted data, and extremely important to have a trusted data generated, because no matter how secure, no matter how reliable is your blockchain,
Mhm.
if you're working with not reliable data, you can do too much. No? So having reliable data that you can verify signature, it's a step, is a paramount step on the whole chain of value.
Mhm.
And then you can input that on the Cartesi rollups on our virtual machine as an input, and work with that in a way that you wish. And that output can generate inputs to other softwares that are being fed by that, or generate an action to be written on the blockchain, to generate a payment, to generate a trigger to order the app. So the sky's the limit, what you can do with that. And
Exactly.
Cartesi, this virtual machine that sits on off-chain computing, receives that, execute this code, and can execute the whole logic, and deliver the results that the developer is waiting for. Some ideas on the hackathon today was pretty interesting. Having, for example, a geofence around the marina. So
Mm,
if a boat enters in this marina, depends on the size of the boat, the type of the boat, the fuel, and all attributes of the boat, you can charge dynamically with timestamps and etc. dynamically charging of a parking for this boat,
hmm
or if it's an ecological boat or not ecological boat, it's the sky's the limit that we can do. And all these results can be delivered to the blockchain to be accessible later on to other applications use that, no? Or for an audit or for a proof that bill was correct, because
hmm
you can record all the information over there, and now the execution of the smart contract that is now a layer is fully verifiable. So it's an end-to-end verification and trustable environment.
Yeah,
It's very
verifiable
interesting.
data and verifiable compute, right? And
Exactly,
that's really what you
exactly,
need for verifiable trust and
exactly.
verifiable results,
Exactly.
right?
You're
You know,
end-to-end verifiable from the data generating point of view with IoTeX devices
hmm
until the whole logic that are implemented to treat those data and where you store it, the results or actions you store is on blockchain. So
hmm
that's the end game. And we are bridging the gap with the mainstream developers because of offering an operating system that is Linux, that is so common, available. 95% of the computers in the world works on Linux. It's a very, I would say, friendly and common ground to the mainstream developers, which is the vast dominant developers that we have nowadays. We have more or less 20 million developers against 500,000 of Solidity coders. So we are addressing here an amazing blue ocean of opportunity, and I'm
Yeah.
pretty
You know,
excited to see it's coming.
absolutely. I'm curious to know your thoughts around, the this whole landscape of scaling solutions, right? Even on your website, you guys mentioned things about, privacy preservingness and scalability.
Yeah,
Give some context as far as the different scaling approaches that people are talking about today.
yeah,
Layer two, DK,
it's a very, yeah, very interesting question. Thanks for asking, Larry. So basically, our technology, the Cartesi, it's a flavor of computational scalability called optimism rollups optimist, and it's similar to other solutions that you have in the market. For example, as Arbitrum, uh, they use also optimism, and they have also dispute game resolutions to guarantee. The difference among, for example, Arbitrum and us is that Arbitrum has a VM that is fully compatible with Ethereum, meaning you're running Solidity code over there. The difference is whenever you're running something on Arbitrum, you can run a much more prolonged and complex Solidity code that you could run on blockchain because they're scaling that. And of course, they're reducing fees and etc. because of the rollups. In Cartesi, we do that, and on top of that, our virtual machine offers a Linux OS.
hmm
So it's a different way of looking at. We are opening, we are including, we are inclusive to
Yeah.
all those programmers in the whole world that are crazy to jump into the blockchain revolution, but are facing friction because maybe they need to learn Solidity, a new program language is complicated, they don't
hmm
have time, or it's not a priority. So we are offering them a common environment, a friendly environment for them to do a smoother onboarding on the Web 3.0.
Yeah.
And those, of course, the scalability angle, it's not a one problem. You need to scale your computation, you need to scale capacity to store, which is a very difficult one as well. You need to scale programmability, you need to scale transactions to reduce fees. So it's a
hmm
multi-dimensional problem. And Cartesi, the Cartesi ecosystem is tackling all those problems, not one for a single product. Cartesi, the Caris, is the virtual machine with scaling, computation for the blockchains. But we're going to have later on a side chain that is tuned for data availability, for higher storage, temporary data availability, is our way to contribute also for this challenge of how to store data on blockchain.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much discussion as of late about, the EVM versus the Rust kind of thing. Maybe not as of late, but last month, when Solana was really going crazy, everyone was debating, the complexity of coding in Rust versus the complexity of coding in Solidity. And these are both very, very challenging languages to learn and especially
The-
implement distributed architecture with, right? So, yeah,
Rust is a powerful language, very powerful language, and the amount of developers of Rust in the world is not huge, but it's a very powerful language. It's recently new, and the advantage of using a Cartesi in our OS is you wanted to code in Rust, you code in Rust. You wanted to code in C++, you code in C++. You wanted to
hmm
code in Python, you code in Python. You want to code in VB, you code in VB. If you wanted to load in our virtual machine MySQL database to query and put on your Python to do some trainings on your image recognition software, you can do it. So we are welcoming any kind of program language because of this programmability escalation that we are offering, and it's unique. Nobody's offering that. So while we are seeing those disputes on which program language to use, we are very open. We can use
absolutely.
all of them.
Yeah, absolutely. We talk a lot about needing to improve the user experience in blockchain to bring the next, million or billion users to crypto.
Mhm.
But this is also about the developer experience, right?
Oh
Being able
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
flexibly
The,
create brand new applications.
yeah,
Yeah, maybe
the
talk a little
first
bit
step
about
is
that.
yeah, the first step is helping developers to be on board and be capable to develop friendly applications, and that pass through offering them a correct environment to code. Uh, and you mentioned about the privacy layer. Now, it's not that we are implementing not a native privacy layer, or there are blockchains that are trying to do that in a native way. We just simply offer Linux, so you can run inside your code a ZK library in Linux and implement a privacy layer. We did a while ago a project that was offering what we call a private content sharing, where there is a marketplace that the seller doesn't want to reveal the content to the buyer, but at the same time the buyer needs to buy that. How they can reach those agreements, because if the buyer sees the good before, maybe they would just see the configuration and not buy. So we implement a cryptography library on top of that, and the whole logic will verify what the seller is selling. If it's that what the buyer is requiring, the sales is automatically completed, and only later on the buyer receive a key to the code, the cryptographic library, and open the file that he purchased. And that is done through a completely decentralized environment. So privacy layer is doable in our technology, because you can use all those libraries and support that a whole operating system offers.
Yeah, yeah. The possibilities are really endless when we combine IoTex's real world data with the flexible ability to even run like AI and machine learning algorithms in a
Absolutely,
verifiable way,
absolutely.
right? I think that's really the interesting
Ab-
intersection of IoT, AI, and blockchain. Maybe talk a
and,
little bit
and
about the machine learning potential there, Bruno.
absolutely, it's endless, and on top of that, now, if you do all those things verifiable, you already enter in a sphere of producing legally binding results,
Hmm
results that can be used to prove even courts what you're saying, because the end-to-end verifiable environment allows you to do that. So
Yeah,
Cartesi will receive data from Pebble, verify the signature, verify that the data that is working is valid, will work, and everything that's being done inside Cartesi machine is fully verifiable and disputable, and the result of that is recorded on the blockchain, which has immutable and guarantees. So you have an end-to-end layer here, and the applications that you can put on top of that. If you're using machine learn to train, or to get an image recognition, to take some decisions or trigger some actions, or you can do a proof of presence, no? Or a
right.
proof of a lot of variables, a proof of value, a proof of care, if you're taking care of your car, and you can do this in a legally binding way because everything is verifiable.
Absolutely, absolutely. The future is bright. We just ran this ideathon. Next quarter we'll be running a hackathon and kind of
Yeah,
bringing this concept to many, many places. But a lot to look forward to, Bruno. I think,
I'm really excited, Larry.
yeah,
2022 will be a very nice year for everybody.
Absolutely. So, if people want to, start coding with Cartesi or learn more, how do they reach you, or how do they learn more about Cartesi?
Well, you can to get used with us and our tech. Just visit our page, go to our products. We have an extensive library uh, explaining our product. Or in our page, cartesi.io, you can also, if you have an outstanding idea on how to use IoTeX Pebble with Cartesi, you can apply for a grant. In our labs, we have a Cartesi Labs, just a tab in our webpage, and we are always open to receive grants and especially grants from using combining technology from our partners. So it's a pleasure.
Yeah. So just want to, thank you so much for chopping on, Bruno, and sharing some more context. There's going to be much more from IoTeX and Cartesi soon. And for those that participated in our Ideathon this week, you're going to get this sweet NFT
That's a very
sometime
beautiful
in
one.
the next few days. So, yeah, Bruno, thank you so much for joining. And, we'll be in touch very, very soon.
Larry, thanks a lot for having me here in the name of Cartesi, and looking forward for what is next. Bye
Awesome.
bye.
Awesome. See you later. So that was Cartesi, guys. Really, really exciting way to expand the utility of this real world data that IoTeX is producing, right? Bringing real world data into Cartesi's environment, running even big data algorithms, machine learning in the programming language of your choice is really just going to make the development process a lot easier. And our next guest, Covalent, is also making development a lot easier, but in a different form, right? Pulling data from the IoTeX blockchain into the Covalent ecosystem so you can do analytics and dashboards and wallets. I'm not doing it justice, so I'm going to bring on my good friend Eric to explain more about Covalent. How's it going, Eric?
I'm wonderful. How are you, sir?
Good, good. Just enjoying this Friday with all the homies in the IoTeX ecosystem is great. Covalent's
Oh
a
no,
partnership that we
did I lose
announced.
you,
Yeah, just this week, bud.
Larry? Is it my
Hey,
internet? Did we lose Larry?
hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I think I lost you for. Did you lose me or did I lose you?
I don't know, but we found each other again, so we're good, right?
Amazing, amazing. Yeah.
um, I was just saying, this week we announced the partnership with Covalent, and just like the Cartesi partnership, this is something that we've been talking about for months. And every conversation I've had with you just makes it, the possibilities just expand, right? So give the audience a little flavor of what Covalent is, and maybe start with the introduction about yourself, what you do at Covalent as well.
Yeah. So I run ecosystem at Covalent. So yeah, this is the website. I saw the Cartesi presentation. I was like, I could do that also. I've got something I can share if you want to bring it up in a minute. Hold up.
For sure.
Let me do this. I'll just. Sorry, guys. Bear with me for a minute.
No, you're all good. You're all good.
Do I do it in the Telegram? Is that it?
You can shoot it to me on Telegram. Yeah, I can upload it here. Yeah, but give the crew a flavor of who you are and what Covalent is.
Yeah, man. So of course, so thank you for having me. I'll give you the background. So like I run ecosystem at Covalent. So I spend a lot of my time talking to a variety of different blockchains, applications, enterprise customers who are all trying to figure out how do they get data on chain. So what Covalent does is we take all on-chain data. So in this case, all IoTeX data, and we put it in a database. We put it in a Postgres database and make it queryable from an API. So everybody knows that blockchains produce limitless amounts of public data. It's not going to go anywhere, but it's also not super actionable. You have to, the number one way to get it is to go to Etherscan, but Etherscan doesn't necessarily have the best UX. That's more for Ethereum, obviously. But we take all of these different blockchains, so ETH, BSC, Polygon, Moonbeam, RSK, Arbitrum, Optimism, the list goes on, and now officially IoTeX, and we make it usable. So we make all the on-chain data usable in graphs, charts, dashboards, and a lot more. So like we have a ton of products who are building on Covalent. So Balancer, Aave, Zapper, Zerion, NFTX, anything that requires data. So if you go to like Binance's NFT marketplace, feature.market, all the data comes from us. So your data infrastructure. And why I was really excited about this in specific is I think that IoT data is going to be huge. I think it's not a debate of what's going to happen. It's not a debate that it's going to be a big market. It's the market that nobody knows how big it's going to be. And nobody knows how big it is right now for IoT data. And I think it's about to be a huge, gigantic market that has never existed before, where like, people are going to make some passive income by having their fridge send data to the blockchain, right? And people will figure out like electricity statistics and all sorts of stuff. So I was super excited about this partnership because I think there's a whole different set of utility, even from some of our larger enterprise customers that we're talking to, about what you can do with this data and like when this is actually made public. And I think this is going to be massive, like, because it's like Covalent is more of an enterprise product. So it's like if it's a data pipeline an enterprise uses and they're familiar with it. So like we've already got people poking around asking questions. So we're already really excited about this.
Absolutely. We think about the IoTeX, we think about the Oracle problem a lot, right? And many people think about oracles as only bringing data from the real world or other data sources to the blockchain, right? But another really important part of this Oracle kind of problem is how do you bring on-chain data off-chain, right?
Yep.
Things like GameFi are really pushing the need for on-chain data off-chain, right? Because a lot of these games are not running on smart contracts, but they need the data availability to make their games happen, right? Explain that a little bit, like the importance of grabbing on-chain data off-chain. We can build wallets, we can build analytics dashboards, but from a more functional perspective, what does this look like in your eyes?
That's a great question. So I think with a lot of things, I'll give you a little of insight to what I'm seeing some teams building that I think is really interesting. So yeah, to your point, we're the total opposite of an Oracle. We are not an Oracle. We're never going to be an Oracle. It's not what we do. We don't care about bringing on-chain data, off-chain data on-chain. We're saying, okay, well, now that all this crypto data is public, what can we actually do with it? So an example, there's a team right now building under collateralized loans. So in crypto, everything's over collateralized, lock up your ETH, lock up whatever, and you'll get a loan against it. They're doing under collateralized loans because they have all the on-chain data and they're scoring people's wallets and trying to understand what you can do with that on-chain data or that on-chain data off-chain, and then predict how you can do loans against that. So that's something that's not necessarily available. There's companies doing NFT wash trading forensics. So these guys are looking at the NFT marketplace, and if somebody tries to sell you a punk and it's not actually a punk, they'll be able to tell you. So like if you go on Nifty, like is it Nifty or it's Rarible? Anyways, I think Rarible uses them. So like there's a lot of different projects, right, that just takes the data and makes it actionable and makes it usable. So I think there's a lot of things like that in terms. I know Swash is up next, but at a certain point, if you want to see the distribution of Swash data and where it's going and who's querying it and who the top buyers are, what wallets are accessing it the most, what protocols are being paid most into Swash, like what type of websites. If that is all on-chain data, then that's now actionable. So it's like, I'm not going to say that we're storing the data. We're not in that business, but we're saying, okay, let's see what's happening with it. And let's see all the transactions. Let's see the wallets. Let's see who's holding it. And let's start scoring and let's start doing stuff. So yeah, with GameFi, there's a ton of things. Like if you want to do like build wallets and see what's happening there. If you want to build wallets, there's a lot you can do with that and like see everything that's happening in each wallet, who's owning what, how fast items are circulating, things like that. There's a ton of cool projects building. Like they're all over the map.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said earlier, I think the potential for this is massive in the context of IoT, right? Because in the future, IoTeX has always believed that machines with identities and, some capabilities are going to be the biggest users of blockchains, right? What devices have machines, what devices have talked to other devices, what humans have tapped into devices. All of this can be kind of presented into kind of like an interaction map, right? To really share, what devices are talking to each other, what interactions have happened, what payments have happened. And it's really like the index for the entire machine network that we're talking about, right? That type of stuff is great to visualize, but it can also be used to, progress business logic or create brand new workflows or business models, right? You mentioned enterprise, right? Talk to us a little bit about the enterprise kind of use cases that you're tackling right now. What's up with that?
Yeah, so the enterprise space is so interesting. So what we've sort of realized is, so Covalent, I'm going to go into the weeds a bit, but there's an ETL and an ELT pipeline. There's two types of data, like Fivetran or Snowflake. These are Web2 companies. They're massive multi-billion-dollar companies. We're building the similar infrastructure that they have. So what's interesting is this is something that's very enterprise focused and it's more focused to analysts. So lots of analysts use this type of data. And what you're seeing is, because this is not learning a new tool or putting a ton of work on them, it's just querying an API, you're seeing people get to product to market faster. And the turnaround there is super exciting because you're seeing a lot, like the way this space is evolving is we're seeing people ship things startups ship stuff, and then 6 months later, you're seeing an enterprise come knock on your door and start building an NFT marketplace or start doing that. You're seeing other large people, like some banks are poking around asking really good questions, where they're starting to say, hey, I want to see the distribution of stable coins across multi-chain. Some people are openly saying, and this is funny enough, that the IoT data actually came up. They said the conversation came up with one manufacturer who was saying, hey, I have XYZ devices. They're looking at, funny enough, IoTeX, and they're looking at somebody else, and they were debating some of these things, like how do we actually know what's happening? How do we visualize this? And this was a legitimate conversation that we had with them. Yeah. I think they're early in their journey, but the fact that they're asking these questions and they're like, hey, we need this, and we need this at scale, and we don't want to reinvent the wheel and do a ton of homework in digging up data to understand how the usage is, or what's going on, or how, like, what our competitors are doing and what's happening. It's super exciting. Like in Web 2, we were super spoiled because we built all these amazing data tools that became available. Whereas in Web 3, we had all the data and it hasn't been accessible until now. So I think it's having clean, organized data lets a lot of people start to plan and get into the space, whether this is banks, it's enterprise, it's anybody. And it's super exciting to actually see some of these people go live, like some of these projects be production ready.
I haven't mentioned this to you because it just happened this week, but this entire week, Rowland and I were in Los Angeles. I just got back last night at this conference, the Industry IoT Consortium Q4 member meeting. And this is all these big IoT enterprises out there. And, we were giving our presentation on MachineFi to a very enterprise audience. I didn't know how it was going to go, but we were talking about things like connecting the blockchain to the metaverse. And, if you say this to an enterprise, you imagine their eyes to glaze over. But it was a complete opposite reaction, because there's a lot of concepts within traditional IoT that really resemble this kind of like metaverse to physical world connection. Right. And it's called a digital twin, right? For anyone that hasn't heard about this, it's kind of replicating a physical object in digital form. So you can run different simulations and emulations about how this device is going to perform if I tweak this, or it's kind of like a design space to simulate what would happen if you changed a physical object, but simulating in the digital world, right? And that's all about data, right? So when we have, some devices that own data on IoTeX that want to feed other people's digital twins, that's a perfect example of grabbing something off the blockchain and putting it into something that's more off-chain, right? So I just wanted to mention that to you. I think the enterprise space is watching crypto and blockchain very, very closely, maybe not from the cryptocurrency perspective, but from the utility perspective, right? What do you think about the future of where this is heading?
Oh, I 100% agree. You're seeing people wake up to some of these, like there's a Fortune 100 company we talk to. We have a recurring call with every month. I just see API calls going
by the way.
Pardon me?
A Fortune 100 company every month. It's an alpha league, Eric.
It's an alpha league. There'll be something announced probably next year. But anyways, but the product. So Covalent is also free. It's open. So we're not charging agreements here. We're not doing anything with people on the supply. So any developer can use it for free. At its current state, at some point where things will change, but for now it's free. So, we don't have a lot of these agreements. So it's interesting. But what you're starting to see is that people are asking really good questions, where somebody is starting to say, okay, I want to know every stable coin because maybe I want to figure out how I can circumvent a bank and go directly to the government and work with them. And you're like, okay, That's a very interesting conversation to have. You're seeing people start to say, okay, well, in some cases, people are building hardware. They're building, I know somebody in Korea is building a restaurant and they want to build it on the blockchain with NFTs. Like, how do I verify the usage if people are going to come to my restaurant and they're going to sign up with their NFT and get that discount? And what is the actual usage and redemption of this? And is that enterprise? I mean, it could be considered enterprise if it's a pilot restaurant. So you're seeing a lot of really bizarre use cases that I wouldn't have thought of. And they're less around the payments and more of the proof. I call it just proof of. It's always proof of something, proof of membership, proof of authority, proof of some things.
Proof of anything, right? We love that term, yeah.
And so I think that's what it's getting to. And I think it's getting more and more exciting because you can see, as pretty much everybody is starting to wake up to, I can reduce costs, or I can automate this, or I can pay people more money, or I can, there's so many things that could be done. So I think that's just interesting as a whole. And it's to hear how people have sort of done the mental gymnastics to figure out how it relates back to their industry. Mm-hmm. But the thing that's interesting to see is once they can do those mental gymnastics, what we're sort of realizing is they're always okay, well, how do I get the data to validate my experiment and how it actually worked from actually taking on-chain data? because you can speculate and say, oh, well, we did this experiment and 90 people signed up. But it's very different to say, like, we did this experiment, we did this airdrop, and we had, 1,700 people sign up for the NFT, and 5 days later, 91% of the people are still holding it. Only a few people have moved it or done something. And like, you can get engagement in very different ways. So I think that's exciting. I think we're allowed to see a ton of things that we didn't think of. And we're just at the beginning of seeing these massive markets that have never existed before. I'm super stoked.
Yeah, no, there's so much to look forward to, man. I think, another thing to look forward to, we just announced our partnership with Covalent this week, but, Covalent runs these awesome hackathons where, you can have the entirety of the blockchain space's data and create different types of wallets and dashboards, right? And this is something we're going to be running in Q1 with Covalent. So it really gives the developers a chance to use the IoTeX Covalent tech stack together in order to create some awesome wallets, some dashboards. Walk us through a little bit about what 1 million wallets is about and what the IoTeX dev community and Covalent dev community and blockchain dev community can look forward to.
I'm super stoked about this. So we've done this a few times with a few other partners, and I think it's become a hit. We realize that all a wallet really is just visualizing data. So a bunch of wallets in the space use Covalent for all their backend. So like you've probably used a handful of wallets that are 100% built by they're not built by us. It's our data visualized with some fancy, very pretty UX. So we realize that you can build wallets for anything. We're of the mindset that there'll be millions of wallet applications, and every Web 2 application will have a wallet built into it to some degree for some sort of functionality. So we said, all right, well, wallets are just dashboards. Let's see what people can build. So we've gotten some very creative hackathons. We've seen, I think collectively, we've done this 4 times, and we've seen over 5,000 participants who show up to build wallets. It's great because you get to see people's design chops, people's coding chops. It's great to get the ecosystem involved. So, other applications show up and offer bounties, sometimes saying, hey, we want a custom wallet, or we want somebody to pull some data from the API and give us some charts. It's a great way to get everybody together with a deliverable that's not really competitive, and show off the community. And there's grants given out, there's rewards given out. We do a bunch of webinars, workshops. We've done this a few times, and the question that we get, 6 months later is, hey, do you guys want to run this again? Because like, it's something that anybody can participate in, because even if you're not technical, you can show up and play around with the wallet for 10 minutes.
Exactly.
Right? Like, that's it. That's why I think it gets everybody off the bench and into the game. So it's like, I think it's one of the best hackathons we do. We've done a bunch of Gitcoin stuff, but it's every time we do it, there's something different, and it gets more and more exciting, and we get more people engaged. So I'm very excited for this. Especially maybe we can do something where we actually start pulling some IoT data and pulling some table data and seeing what we could do with that, right? So I'm personally nerding out on this. I've got a lot of ideas, so I'm really excited for Q1 to dive further into this and brainstorm a bit more.
Yeah, it's one of those things. All of our calls, I'm going to start recording all of our business development calls, because those are podcasts in themselves, right? Just bouncing ideas, and the possibilities are really endless, right? So we're really looking forward to continuing the partnership with Covalent and, putting it to use, right? This is the theme of all of our partnerships now. It's kind of, really want these things to be ready, not doing things for announcements anymore, just, really exploring this brand new design space that's super interesting. But, a lot to look forward to. How do people learn more about Covalent?
Covalent HQ. If you're a developer and the API is free, if you want to poke around. If you have any questions, sign up to our Discord. Or just go to our Discord and ask questions. We have technical support 24/7. We've got 13,000 developers who are using it, so it's pretty active. But just poke around. If you have any questions, just ask. We're always here. Follow us on Twitter. Hit us up. Whatever you want, we're around.
Sweet. Well, thanks so much for dropping by. Really looking forward to what we're going to do in the future. And have a good weekend, Eric. Appreciate it.
No pleasure, sir. Take it easy, guys. Cheers.
See you later. Awesome, guys. So that was Covalent. Another really exciting project that is going to, like Eric's mentioning, bring data from IoTeX chain and make it available off chain. This is a concept that hasn't really been explored or thought about too much. But like I was mentioning, this week we were at the Enterprise conference, and everyone was really interested in how they can use blockchain. And from my consulting background, a lot of the times, putting data in a way that's digestible for people to really understand, immediately get, right? So, okay, I can see the full picture of what's going on this blockchain, right? These are the staking actions. These are the device actions. These are the interactions between machines. That really adds a whole ton of context. into what can be done, right? So really excited to dig deeper into what we could do with Covalent. And another, I think next we have IoTeX Pad, I believe. IoTeX Pad is a really interesting launch pad. That's the first native launch pad to be brought to IoTeX, and really excited to see this fuel a lot of brand new projects that are going to come on board to the IoTeX network. So with that, I have Malik from IoTeX Pad. Hey, Malik, you with us?
Yes, Larry. Hi, how are you?
Hey, how's it going? You guys made a big splash on the IoTeX network as of late, and we're really excited to have you on board to share with us a little bit more about the philosophy of launchpads. Right? Everyone has seen all these little initial DEX offerings, right? IDOs really
Yeah.
spark,
Uh,
and we'd love to hear your philosophy around it, and what IoTeX Pad is all about. But before we get there, share a little bit about yourself, man, and the team behind IoTeX Pad.
sure, sure. I would love to do that. So, Larry, we are the team for IoTeXPad, and we have got multiple experiences in angel rounds and seed rounds, and we did advise some projects and everything. So we are blockchain enthusiasts. We started back in 2013 and did multiple projects and advised them, made their token economics and everything. So we got the expertise in blockchain and the launch pads. As you know, these days the launch pads are the hyped ones, and projects are looking for the ideas and everything. You know that, right? So these
Mm-hmm.
days are people are getting crazy about the launch pads. So we have some good names in the industry right now, like CDFI, Red Kite, and others. So on IoTX chain, there is no launchpad as of now, and a lot of projects are building on IoTX chain. So this is a really good opportunity to seize. You guys are doing a really good job. So IoTX Pad came for the projects to be as a launchpad and a native launchpad for them.
Yeah.
So a lot of projects, the gaming projects, they are building on IoTX, and other projects DeFi, and just we had two projects before me. So Covalent and the other one. So we will be the launchpad and a gateway for them to launch the IDO. For fundraising, we are there for them. And for us, the security is the priority. Yeah.
Absolutely. The entire launchpad space has really taken the world by storm this year, right? And, it's funny to think about the evolution of crowdfunding, right? From the 2017 ICO days to Binance Launchpad days, which more of like an IEO, initial exchange offering, and now to the initial DEX offering, right? So I would say it's becoming more and more broad, bringing more and more people into the fold as of late. But tell us a little bit more about the Launchpad ecosystem. Right, there's like a lot of connections between Launchpads, in really really important first step for projects in order to put their tokens into the hands of thousands of people, not just randomly, but ones that qualify or are seen as long term value adds. Right, maybe talk about your philosophy about that. Right, why is it important to build this initial connection, and how does IoTeX Pad do that?
This is very important. Thanks for asking this question, Larry. I was hoping to get asked. So, the philosophy of the Launchpad is to really connect the retail investors with the projects. So, mainly what happened in during 2017 ICOs and the Binance Launchpad days and other Launchpads, what happens is all the major VCs takes the big lead and everything, and retail investors are left with a very small amount. So what we are doing is we are connecting the retail investors, the daily average joy, with the projects directly. So what we will be doing for the retail investors, we will be uh, selecting the projects, vetting them. We will be uh, going through the whole process and evaluation of the process, because we have a team of evaluators, and those guys will be evaluating the projects for the investors, so they don't have to worry about it. Because you know uh, a lot of scams are going on, projects are rugging. Recently I heard a lot of projects are rugging. So these projects and the retail investors are losing money in these projects. So what we are doing is we will be putting a lot of security and a surety for the investors that they won't lose any more funds. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what we did is we built a launch pad on IoTX. As I told you, this will be the native and the first launch pad, and we will be providing a lot of support with them. So right now, what we have is our fundraised is around 1.9 million, and the leading VCs are X21 Digital, MEXC Exchanges with us, AU21 Capital is there. So these are the major VCs which lead the funding rounds.
You know what's
So in
interesting?
this,
A lot of the VCs you guys raised from are also VCs that participated in the IoTeX private sale back in 2017 or 2018. So it's really great to see kind of the evolution of the investor set of IoTeX, right? But congratulations on the raise. You know, you guys not only raised from really great VCs that have a lot of respect in the industry, but also with influencers like the Moon Carl. How did that happen? Maybe explain
Moon Carl is Moon Carl is on board with us, and that is a very big achievement for us. Behind
Mhm.
the scenes, we are working very hard, and honestly, we are trying to bring the projects from BSc to IoTX because
Mhm.
we are very, very bullish on IoTX Pad. And right now, BSc projects lately, the BSc is lagging and it's not performing up to the mark. I'm personally, when I'm trading and I'm seeing the lagness of BSc, it is frustrating. So I have to go make a node and everything and to do the trading only. So
Mm.
you can imagine if a retail investor is trading and the BSc is not responding and he's just hanging around there, and trading is very sensitive. So this doesn't make any sense. So IoTX is the chain where we will be building. It is scalable, it is secure, it is efficient, and we have the speed what we need, right?
Mhm.
So on IoTX, we will be the first launch pad. We will be incubating. We will be launching the projects. We will raise funds for the projects through the retail investors, and this is very important. If you go down on the website, you will see the tires. Yeah,
Mhm.
we have a tire system, so we don't want anyone to mess out. If you see bronze, silver, gold, these will be lottery based, so we want to give chance to every single person that is coming to our ecosystem. Yeah, so for raising the funds for these tires will be on lottery basis, and we will be implementing a system after getting the feedback from the community as well. If the lottery is going well, we will make sure that everyone is getting the fair uh, allocations. Yeah,
Definitely.
emerald and VIP will be the guaranteed ones.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I think you know, you guys are also launching a public token sale, and I think you guys are even doing an IDO on IoTeX Pad, right? That's coming up. Maybe share
Yes.
a little bit about that. What can people? How do people participate, and why should they participate?
See, we will be launching our IDO on two platforms. One is at Oxbull, okay, and the second one will be at our own website. So this is very important because at IoTeXPad we think that the community is at core, so we have to include every person. So what we will be what feedback we will be getting from our group was that you have to do it on a lottery base, the
Yeah.
IDO for ITXpad. So
Hmm.
we listen to the community and we value them very much because these people will be the retail investors or investors for us to raise funds for the coming upcoming projects. So these are the people we listen and we go for them. Yeah, so we will be launching IoTX Pad on our own website as well. The detailed announcement will be made later with the detailed instructions how to take participate and how to do that. Most probably it will be a gleam competition, or we will be choosing people at random. Let's see how it goes, but right now I can tell you it will be a competition, and we will be giving a fair chance for people to participate.
That's awesome. Yeah. So look out for, IoTeX Pad's own initial DEX offering. It's a little meta what we're talking about here. But how do people uh, look out for these updates? What channel should they be following?
Yeah, we have a lot of channels. So currently, they can go to our website. They can, when they go down, they will be getting all the links for our channels. We have a Telegram channel, we have Twitter account, we have announcement channels. So if you can go down, you will see all those links to the channels for the website.
Yeah. So everyone, go check out
Yeah.
IoTeXPad.network. And we're really looking forward to the brand new projects that are going to be coming onto IoTeX, right? As of late, there's a lot of projects that are porting over in kind of this multi-chain capacity. But as the community knows, there's a lot of projects that are native to IoTeX that are launching soon.
Yes.
HealthBlocks, I think Mimo is launching their governance token. So many other projects that are coming. So I think IoTeX Pad's going to not only be bringing other projects from other ecosystems to IoTeX, but really helping these native IoTeX projects not only raise funding but do marketing and a whole slew of other things. So
This is
really,
very correct,
yeah, really
Larry.
looking
So
forward to
we
all.
will be providing them support as well. The projects which needs, we will be a whole ecosystem in ourself as well. The projects which are coming to our launchpad, we will be providing them the technical services. We will be providing them the like if they need the coders, if they need funding or something, we will be leading the funding rounds as well for them as well. Other than the IDO as well. Yeah, so we will be
Yeah,
helping them in the marketing and everything. We really got the connections, as you have mentioned Mooncard, and I really wish to mention some others, but as you know, we are in process of launching.
yeah, yeah. No
So
secrets, no secrets.
he knows about it, but let's see how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, any projects that are looking to launch on IoTeX, definitely get in touch with IoTeX Pad. There's going to be many, many launch pads in the IoTeX network. We're really happy to see the first native one that's built specifically for IoTeX. So, Malik, thank you so much for joining today. And yeah, hopefully, we'll be hearing a lot more from you guys soon. And stay tuned for IoTeX Pad's IDO, even within the coming week. So, follow those channels, guys. Thanks, Malik.
Thank you so much, Larry. Have a good day. Bye,
See you.
man.
Awesome. So that was IoTeX Pad, guys. There's a lot of buzz around these launch pads, but for good purpose, right? It's really important to bring new projects to new networks. And these launch pads are just a great way to put tokens into the hands of even tens of thousands of people at a time, right? The really predominant strategy these days is we see a lot of projects wanting to launch on multiple launch pads, even across multiple chains, right? So this whole multi-chain future is definitely here, whether it's BSC native projects or Polygon native projects wanting to get exposure to the IoTeX ecosystem, or like I said, a lot of brand new native projects in IoTeX launching very soon. So whether it's we're talking to tons of launch pads as of late, Launch Zone, IoTeX Pad, Trust Pad, which is native to BSC, even Chain Guardians, who's kind of wrapping an NFT game around a launch pad, really allowing community to discover new projects and be private sale investors in these projects is a fascinating concept. So look out for more Launchpad activity. The next guest we have, I'm really excited to chat with because it's really deep into the ethos of what IoTeX is about, owning our data and allowing people to really capture the value of that data. And this is a partnership we announced last week with Swash. So today I have Chloe, the CMO of Swash. How you doing, Chloe?
Hi, Larry. Nice to be here. How are
Yeah,
you?
absolutely. Thank you so much for joining. Swash has a big vision to empower users, right? Empower everyday people with the ability to own and control their information and, share it, monetize it, and really treat it as property, right? So excited to dive into this throughout this session. But let's start, just by sharing a little bit about yourself and Swash from your own words.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I mean, that was an amazing intro anyway, so I'll add a little bit to that. So yeah, hi, I'm Chloe. I'm in charge of marketing at Swash. And so Swash is actually reimagining data ownership by redistributing the value back to everyday internet users. And I emphasize everyday internet users because part of what we are focused on is being as accessible and simple for new audiences as possible. Swash is actually the first and largest data union. And the clue is in the name there that, like a data union, it basically works to protect the interests of the people within that union. So currently Swash has around 200,000 members, which has grown really quickly. We actually weren't expecting to get to the 200,000 mark quite so soon. And it's been something which has really taken off, I think, especially in the last year, but I think in the last few years, mainly because there's a lot of discussions around, like data legislation, but also there are various scandals like Cambridge Analytica, which I'm sure we all heard of. And Swash is generally used as an example of like a pioneering case study of what a future of data could look like. So we've been featured in research with Mozilla, Open Data Institute here in the UK, GPAI recently. And now basically what we've done is in the last few months, we had our IDO, I'll just add that one in there, and we launched the Swash token. And that token is basically fueling our universal data ecosystem. So what began as a simple sort of web-based app is now expanding out into a variety of different tools and solutions for people, businesses, and developers to come together and really collaborate in a sort of more sustainable data economy.
I love it. That's a really great, explanation of like where we're at today, right? The transition from Web 2 to Web 3. And, I think it's important to set some context for people about what's going on in Web 2, right? Everyone knows about the centralized servers and the big like advertising driven data marketplaces where, our, digital derivatives of ourselves are being sold as digital profiles, and people are listening to what we say and putting ads in our Instagram feeds. So how does Swash really tackle this, or how does Web3 in general establish this paradigm shift to bring power to the people?
Yeah, I love that. I love saying power to the people as well, because I think that's one of the best ways to describe it. And I guess like from where we're sat looking very closely at data, the difference between having a very centralized power that almost dictates to you what the standards of the internet should be, as we've seen with, of course, Facebook, Google, Amazon, all the big names that are only big because of the value of data that everyday people like us have actually generated. Right. Whereas I think for Web3, and obviously speaking for Swash, but I'm sure it applies to pretty much every other project in this space, is simply that by building in a way where we're thinking of how it's going to benefit the majority of people, and it's working on a much more horizontal hierarchy, we can have a much more, I think, quite like a much more creative approach to problem solving than what we've seen previously. And maybe just to add to that, that if there is ever something of like the problems that are really kind of holding Web 2 back, that I don't really see any effort to overcome, even with the pressures from regulation like GDPR, it's much harder for them to adapt. Whereas Web3 projects come in and they not only try and solve the problems of Web 2, but they also keep iterating and keep building on what's now in Web 3, as we're seeing, of course, with DeFi, with the metaverse, with all these different angles and all this creativity in such a crazy space.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Yeah, I love the fact that you brought up GDPR, because I think that that's really starting this new shift in like the Web 2 players' minds, where data is holding on to users' data used to be an asset. Now it's becoming a liability because they're going to have to pay a lot of fines if they don't know how to manage this, right? If you're a massive company like Google, then you have all the infrastructure to comply with GDPR. But a lot of these companies that just want to deliver services or sell products and make their users happy don't really want to play these behind the scenes data aggregation and data sales, right? But giving that opportunity to users to not only enjoy the services and the products, but also to hold on to that data. And, a lot of people associate IoTeX with privacy, but really it's about data ownership, right? If you own your data as property, you can keep it private, you can share it with people you trust, you can sell it to people that you don't necessarily trust, right? So it's really this paradigm shift. Where do you see the biggest opportunities for this? Like, what specific industries do you think are going to be the most interesting?
Wow, that's a good question. Well, I think it's also just to refer to what you were saying there, that with the idea of privacy being one side of it, but also control is a really big element of that. So it might be like you can, privacy gives you one element, but actually then you choosing and having agency as an individual is something we haven't really seen before. But in terms of industries, I think it's quite a hard one to answer, because at this point, pretty much every industry relies on data to be able to succeed, like to be able to make those data-driven decisions.
Right.
I mean, when we talk about the businesses within the Swash ecosystem, we have sort of boiled it down to a few categories. So mainly looking at advertisers and brands, market research companies, AI machine learning startups, hedge funds, like the list goes on. And what's really interesting in the data space is that no matter, who's coming at it, they all have their uses for it. And the actual data is a really versatile thing. And it's a very unique thing in the sense of it becomes more valuable when the more of it is generated. And I think like what you guys are doing with IoTeX as well is really nice to be aligned with that with Swash too, because I think we're really, like, the core of it is on the same page, that the important part and the only way for this to succeed is by thinking of what does the collective need and what will this actually look like going forward as well.
Yeah, absolutely. IoTeX is at the core of what we do. We're infrastructure, right? We want to get to the point where we can grab verifiable data from machines and make it available on chain, right? But that's kind of where our work stops. We built a lot of apps in the past, but we're not app builders, right? We do these things to prove things about the capabilities of our platform. But a clean handoff, I think, between IoTeX and Swash, if we have, just to give some stats about the size of the IoT data set we're talking about, and by 2030, 100 billion devices that will generate 80 zettabytes of data. 1 zettabyte is 1 trillion gigabytes. It's really hard to get your mind around how big that T word is, 1 trillion gigabytes, 80 trillion gigabytes. But if we didn't have Web3 solutions like IoTeX and Swash, that would continue to be held by central institutions who would reap all the benefits, right? So I really do think there's a lot of intersections between IoT data, like IoT machines as kind of the gold mines of this data that really prove things that you've done in the real world. But, talk us through some of these products that Swash has, right? We talked about the data unions, but it's clear you guys are trying to build a foundation of data on top of which apps can be built. Maybe walk us through that.
Yeah, sure. So, so when I talked about the app, that's primarily the data union app. So basically when you install it, it takes about 3 minutes to install, available on pretty much all major browsers. You install and then you basically just leave it running in the background. You don't need to do anything else. And you are then part of the data union, and you're then able to earn from the value of your data. The whole point was that we didn't want to be obtrusive or distracting or making people change their habits, because really at the end of the day, convenience is something that overshadows everything on the internet. So when we decided to expand Swash from the app, which has been around since the end of 2019, we were basically thinking, okay, with all these learnings and all the research that's taken place, and also the change of sentiment that's happening very quickly, how can we plug in and actually support this movement going forward? So when we're talking about the products here, we have S Intelligence, which we're in the process of developing this now. So it will be a competitive and market intelligence platform where a business can come in and basically weigh out where they stand amidst their competition, and sort of see how everyone is, like, basically get a lay of the land of their industry. One example might be like TripAdvisor, for example, will know their own size in the market, and they know where their strengths and weaknesses are, but they might not understand, where Booking.com is. So we have that'll kind of be like a more bird's eye view for businesses to come in and get that information from that high quality zero party data given by the people in the data union. We also then have S-apps, as you mentioned. So S-apps is really the segment in the Swash ecosystem where developers can come in and build the next generation of solutions on top of Swash. So we'll be starting building some of these ourselves, including an advertising service, a polls, surveys feature as well. There's many more ideas, but you can always check out our white paper to go into detail there. And really just like we entered this space as builders, so we know exactly what was missing and what we needed to be able to, grow that community and actually get in front of the right people. So one of the best ways to encourage this much more, I want to avoid the word ethical because I feel like it's very loaded, but at least like a more sustainable data economy. I think you really do need to get your hands dirty and like be in the trenches with the builders as well.
Yeah.
And then
It's
finally,
really
S-compute.
user-centric data economy. It's kind of like a user-centric data economy, right? Because you mentioned advertising. I think that's a huge use case here. Like I always talk about the DGen score. I'm not sure if you are familiar with that, where you scan your address, your blockchain address, and you see what contracts you've interacted with. In this case, the riskiest of yield farms will give you a higher DGen score, right? But putting that into the context of things we do on a daily basis, if I'm able to prove to other people with my blockchain data that I've done certain things, like I've gone camping at this campsite or if I purchased this tent, then it's going to really flip advertising on its head, where you're going to get offers from companies that are in the camping space instead of having to scrub my entire social media history to try to understand who I am. I can tell you who I am just by sharing on an opt-in basis what I've done in the past, right? So I think that's really, really fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's really interesting.
Yeah,
sorry. I'll just add to that. There's a bit of a lag here. With Brave, it's a really good example too, that you see that when people who are typically using ad blockers, because ads are annoying, especially when they're not really relevant to you, because like whatever data has been used to basically target you with that ad is not really reliable and it's not very accurate, you're not really bringing much value to the business that paid for the ad or the person receiving the ad either. And I think what we've seen with Brave as a good example in the Web3 space is that people will actually, willingly say, yes, I want to see ads that, are actually relevant to me. And that can be a real game changer, because I think the other thing to think about here is that third-party cookies, which I'm sure we're all familiar, they've been what sort of dictated how the internet has evolved in many ways because of advertising.
Yeah.
And now these are pretty much at the gallows and about to be restricted. And these businesses need real alternatives that can sort of allow them to continue their practice without, the sort of monolithic overshadow of Google. But that's another discussion, I think.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's really exciting. The dawn of a new age of data, right, is I think what you have on your website. So more user-centric, more user-empowering. I think we're going to start to see some Web2 companies even pay dividends out for data sales they've made, right? Or even in the past, like retroactively, like 23andMe selling their entire health database for $250 million and giving none of that to their users. I think if they made a nice little gesture to say, here's $1, it would have like psychologically made something better, right? But now we're in control to develop these own mechanisms ourselves from a more bottoms up perspective, right? So really looking forward to seeing some IoTeX data on Swash in the future. But for now, how can people learn more about Swash?
Yeah, sure. So as you saw, the website there is swashapp.io. From there, you can easily install the app and give it a try and join the data union. We're also really active on Twitter, which is just Twitter/swashapp. Telegram as well. We've got a really lively community of people we call swashbucklers, sort of pioneering uncharted waters together. And then aside from that, I would recommend joining our mailing list as well. We send out sort of weekly newsletters with our latest news and other kind of like first to know kind of information from Swash.
Awesome. Well, it's a perfect partnership, I think, data generators from the IoTeX blockchain and feeding that to the data marketplaces and data apps of Swash in the future. So really appreciate you coming on today to share more about Swash, Chloe, and excited to see what the future holds.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much for having me. It was a great talk.
Awesome. We'll see you later. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Awesome. So that was Swash, guys. Another one that's really, really exciting. IoTeX at the core of what we've, the reason why we really started this journey was not only to allow people to own and control their devices, which is a huge part already, but also the data and value that their devices generate, right? Like I dropped some numbers there about 100 billion devices by 2030. That's a fact, right? And McKinsey estimates that this $100 billion device footprint around the world is going to generate up to $12.6 trillion in value. With a T, again, you can't really understate the size of what a trillion is. And we have to ask ourselves, right? Who's going to own these 100 billion devices, and who's going to benefit from this $12.6 trillion in value? So what IoTeX and Swash and other players in the Web3 space are really trying to do is make sure that users at least have a sizable portion of that, which we hope will grow over time, right? So really mission driven, and really excited to see what Swash brings in the future. And I'm really excited to also share our last guest today, Blade. And I'm going to start by sharing a little video that they have prepared for us. Enjoy. All right, if that doesn't get you hyped on a Friday morning, I don't know what will. So really excited to see Blade coming into IoTeX. And today I have Kiki from the Blade team to share more about Blade. How's it going, Kiki? Good morning.
Hi, morning, Larry. Thank you for having me here today.
Yeah, awesome to have you. Awesome to have you. So walk us through a little bit of what we just saw there, right? Blade is a new play to earn game coming to IoTeX. But also share a little bit about yourself before we dive into the questions.
Of course. Thank you, Larry. This is Kiki Zhang from, I'm based in Singapore right now. I'm representing Blade and Warrior game. I'm a believer in blockchain and crypto, and now I'm in charge of Blade Warrior global market. Yeah, but I'm sure our audience are much more interested in the game than me. So let's just get started.
For sure. So, Blade Warrior is a play to earn game.
Yes.
And, the play to earn GameFi kind of movement has really taken the world by storm, right?
Yes.
Allowing people, again, to own the assets that they create within the game, monetize it, and just build this whole Web3 peer-to-peer economy, right? So please share a little bit more about Blade from a high level. And we'll talk a little bit more about some of the questions we had prepared.
Of course. Actually, game is all about visualization. How about I can share my screen and give you a live demo about our game?
That would be
like
awesome.
I can really play it. Sure.
Yeah, that'd be great. Nothing like a live demo,
Yeah, indeed. I'm very excited about it. So I share my screen now?
Yeah, please do. And I can add it here to the screen. Mm-hmm. Some folks on YouTube are saying that the game already looks amazing.
Nice. I'm very glad that you like it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see my screen right now?
Yeah, I'm going to add it here.
Ooh. What's happening there?
You probably have to go to, you're sharing your desktop right now. So you probably have to share a specific window. But this is
Okay.
super meta here. The infinite
Okay. Sorry
replication.
about it.
No, no worries, no worries.
Um,
I think on the share button, you go to yeah, share window instead of share
window,
screen.
right?
Hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But while you're pulling it up, the graphics just look epic. You know what I mean? I think a really big part of the next evolution of play to earn, in addition to the user experience side of things, which is of course very, very important, I
Yeah.
think another really important part is the graphics, right? Making it something that people really do want to play, right? And I think this is really going to take GameFi to the next level, or at least bring more of the mainstream gamers into the ecosystem, right?
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, I did see you were sharing your screen a little bit earlier.
Oh, so I'm not sharing right now, right?
No, I think you unshared. But
Sorry about that. I'm not so familiar with this
no worries, no worries.
StreamYard.
No, you're all good.
Okay, how about right now?
Yeah, I can add this to the stream now.
Cool. Can you see the game?
Yep, we got it.
Great. You can see the version is already 108. 1 month ago it was just 001. That is to say, within the past month, each day the team almost update on average 3 versions. Yeah, so you can see they have a very strong production ability.
Hmm.
This interface is for us to choose the heroes. Currently, we have 5 heroes. I show you. My personal favorite are these two, Ginny and Green Chain.
Hmm.
We specially designed for our partners.
These look epic, by the way. I think that's
Yeah,
pretty obvious, but it's very, very
yeah.
epic. Yeah.
Yes. And on the right-hand side, you can see the hero info. If you don't have any NFT like the hero weapon, no worries. You can click here. It will take you to the official website. And in here, you can know more about the weapon, the hero, and choose your favorite. Once you have it, you are ready for some battle. Let's start. Yeah, it loads so fast. Okay. On the left side, you can see the hero info again. This is the glory system. This represents 3 levels of the free map, like ordinary, elite. This has a monster from level 13 to level 24, and the epic. This is pretty difficult. On the right hand side, it shows how many eggs you have. Egg is our secondary token. And the first token is the blade. And this is the package. This again shows you about the hero information like the attack, defense, etc. This is the weapon system. You can see there is still a lot for me to unlock. And pet system, I will save this for later to talk about it because I wanna just try to battle and earn more earn more X. This is where you can purchase the X if you are not patient enough to, just go for more battles. Yeah, that's all for it. Let's try to really battle because how many X you earn from each victory depends on your hero level, your weapon, and also the monster you choose to fight with.
Hmm.
Uh, I personally recommend you to choose the monster which is around the same power as your hero. Let's try level 23. Yeah, almost same level of power. The possibility of winning is more than 50. Yeah, so it's a goal for me. As for weapon, you can just change here because the total power of your hero is the power of itself and also plus the 2 weapons. I select this highest power weapon and another one 200 power. Yeah, I
Hmm.
will keep it like that.
Loading up
Sure.
the character. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you ready
Let's
for the
back.
real battle?
Yeah.
Okay, let's enjoy. First, I need to pay a little bit of gas. Okay, based on this background, I can see the monster is from Egypt, probably. All these battles are automatic. All you need to do is just chill and enjoy and wait to see what happens.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's kind of interactive in a way too, right? Are you battling against computers or players or both?
This is actually just PvE. You actually are just playing with the environment, with the computer.
That's very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, victory.
Awesome.
Around the 600 X dropped. That's
So
perfect.
you're earning eggs as you compete and battle, right? It's kind
Yes,
of this.
yes. As long as it's victory. If you lose the battle, it doesn't matter. It only deduct your today's energy. It doesn't deduct any of your egg or blade token. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So you literally don't lose anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got some eggs. Now I can show you what egg is used for. That is to buy the pad box. Okay, let's try buy one pad box.
So this is kind of like a mystery box concept, huh?
Yeah, what you get
In-game
from it
assets.
only based on your luck. We have pretty lucky players who just got the golden pad within the first day of launch. Oh my god, I'm so jealous. I wish I can also get a golden or even red one day.
The FOMO is real for sure, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that. Just give it 1 second.
No, this play to earn thing is really, fascinating, especially in certain regions around the world, right? The Philippines is really dominating the play to earn, Southeast Asia, and finally, moving over to more of the U.S. and the European kind of states.
Of course,
right?
yeah. Not after long, it's gonna be very popular all over the world.
All right, drum roll. Let's open this egg.
Yes,
Let's
yes,
open
yes.
the
Let's see
pet
what we
box.
get.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Maybe you'll get your red right now.
Oh, I hope so. I really hope so.
Yeah. It's kind of suspenseful, Yeah.
Oh, we actually just had our auction in OEC NFT marketplace. We successfully auctioned our one and only red pad for 28,000 USDT. So
Oh wow.
yeah, it's really a lot of
One
money.
single, so that's an NFT that is represented from one of these things. 28,000 USD. That's a lot of money.
Oh no, I guess the luck is just not on my side today. It's a,
Oh, man.
a white pad.
It's all right.
No worries. Look here. This is the pad interface where it shows how many pads you have. Like this is the blue one. I have 4 green and I 11 white ones. What you can do with these pads, you can either synthesize it. For example, if you want a green pad, like the second level pad, you click here. If you are too lazy, you just click on quick add. It will automatically add 5 white pads for you.
Right.
And you can see the success rate is 100%. So no worry at all. Let's try synthesize it.
So you kind of synthesize lower level characters to get higher level characters.
Yeah, you get a higher level one. Currently, the white pad is not eligible for decomposing, so I'd like to just upgrade it.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah, I got another green fox.
Nice.
Cool, let's check it out. Yeah, see, you can see the new icon here. It has a price of 40 blade token. Okay, this one, it has a higher of 120 blade token. What we can do with this new pad is we either put it in the mining pool. If I add it here, okay, cool. This is where my pad can prove its worth to me and really earn me some X. Like all my other pads, they already give me 977 X. Just within a very short period of time. Yeah.
Either you can use these pets to battle, or you can use them to mine, right? That's what we're seeing here.
Actually, Pad Battle is under development. It will be launched soon. For right now, we only have Hero Battle.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, definitely in the near future, we will have the Pad Battle also. For here, you can make it earn some extra X for you, or if you wanna earn some blade, you can decompose it. Take a note here is, you see the log icon here? The time represents after how long until you can get the total value of this pad. For example, you can see the price is 40 blade token. So if you decompose it within the first day you gain it, you only get 10% of the value. The second day, 20%, the third day, 30%, etc. And only after 10 days, you can get the total of 40 blade token there. And of course, minus a small gas. Yeah, let's try decompose it. Let me try to decompose this one.
Cool.
Goodbye, Pegasus. Oh, it's so hard to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're decomposing down. You can only get white pets from this one, right? No green pets.
Oh, not really. Decompose is directly decompose the pet into the blade token, which is the real money you can sell. See, it already it's already added to my total blade token. Yeah. Amazing, right? This is where you can turn the eggs into blade token, and you can really trade it in the centralized exchange or decentralized exchange. Yeah, very
awesome.
cool. Last but not least is our map. We currently have 3 maps designed. First is the free map, I already took you there. And the second is the ecological map under development. This is where the users can not only gain our blade token, but also other tokens from our partner. Just look forward to it. It's not out yet. Another one is Wonderland, which is our paid map. As long as you pay a certain amount of blade, you can get a entry for 1 day. Why I go there is because the eggs dropped are normally 2 to 5 times more than that of the free map. Yeah, so it's highly recommended to try out this map.
That's awesome.
Let's try this one. Now it's too easy. It's a giveaway, 70%. A little bit hard. This one. Yeah. Let's try this one. Ooh, I'm excited. Ooh. You can see all this animation, all these special moves are very well designed.
It reminds me of, the Mortal Kombat vibes,
Yeah, indeed. Another shot. Oh, miss. When the hero becomes very big, it means it's using a special move. Yeah. My hero is gonna win.
Oh, it looks like he's gonna win, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. After this, the monster is dead. Is dead. Yeah, victory. Do you remember the number of eggs we earned from the free map? You can see it's much higher than that.
Very cool.
Great.
Very cool. No, that's a really comprehensive overview of the Blade game, right?
Yeah.
I'm really excited to. One second, sorry. Yeah, really excited to see what this looks like on IoTeX soon. Just to add a little bit more context to Blade and the team behind it. Maybe share a little bit about why you chose IoTeX and what the team looks like.
Oh, before that, may I just share about our tokenomics, because it's also a very interested thing to talk about.
Sure. Yeah. Maybe we can talk about that within the context of these questions that we had prepared.
Of
Just
course.
running a little short on time, if that's okay.
Okay, of course.
Yeah. But share a little bit about why IoTeX and what the team is, the team behind it.
Of course. Because as everybody knows, IoTeX has a very wide and large user base, and the transaction speed is very fast. Also, your gas charge is low, and most importantly, IoTeX is one of our investors, which gives Blade Warrior and IoTeX a very close tie. Yeah. And as for our
What is the
team,
team composed of? Mm-hmm.
yeah, sure. As for our team, the members are all come from well-known international blockchain organizations and world-class 3A game companies like Blizzard Entertainment, right? I'm sure everybody has heard about it. And
One of the largest
yeah.
game studios. Yeah.
Yeah. Our vision is to become the #1 brand of blockchain game. Yeah. And yeah, I hope that answers your question. Do you have any further questions regarding the game?
Yeah, for sure. Tell us some more about the gameplay itself, right? There's a lot of play to earn games out there, but not many that have the gameplay or the user experience or the tokenomics that will make them long-term sustainable, right? So tell us about the gameplay, or what makes Blade Warrior stand out in that respect. Maybe talk us through a little bit about how the tokenomics work as well.
Of course, will do. First, the game itself is very well designed, as you could see before. And it's very easy and playable for users, like even beginners. As long as you have the NFT, you can start all this battle and daily task, etc. Then you can also get the pads and use the pads for mining. Take myself as an example. I literally just took 10 minutes to explore the game and get used to it when I first started. And now it's a habit for me to just open the game and start battle every morning. Then I just go brush my teeth. When I hear the sound of victory, I come back and move on to next battle. It's so convenient and easy to play the game. Yeah. Our user also love it. We have a lot of wonderful feedbacks, where user really love our game. And secondary is our tokenomic. It's very strong and stable. The first token Blade and the second token X, they are strongly related and without affecting each other. The consumption of tokens is more than the release of those. So it's in general a deflationary model, which helps us to push up the token price. And overall, the tokenomic is 3 to 5 times stronger than that of normal GameFi games. And our project is a long-term project. This is very promising.
Speaking of the long-term nature of the project, maybe you share a little bit more about the roadmap and what's to come, right? You see a lot of GameFi projects starting with the NFT collection and the training, and then moving over to, having their own worlds and NFT land sales. Share a little bit more about your roadmap and what people can expect.
Absolutely. Although our game has been launched for 2 weeks officially, but it's merely just 20% of our entire plan. So players who have participated in our public beta, they already know we have so many more cool features like flop. It's where you bet the blade and win more blade. And more specifically, we have pet battle under development. Our NFT market is planned in the game, and we are strengthening our heroes, weapons, and also LP mining will be launched very soon. Right after that, we will test our stack mining also. And overall speaking, we will cross to more chains, and we will upgrade the game itself from 2D to 3D, and also one game to multiple games, and eventually become a popular platform. Yeah, we
Very
have
cool.
lots of exciting plans to coming up. Just please stay tuned and look out for our social websites and maybe Twitter, and wait for any updates there. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're really looking forward to the launch on IoTeX. And as you mentioned, you have some social channels, maybe Telegram, Twitter. Probably just go to the website, blade.game. Awesome domain, by the way. And yeah, check out all the things that Blade Warrior has to offer. So really appreciate the demo. It's always good to see things live and in action. Not easy to build these games, and really excited to see all these new roadmap items you have coming forward. So really appreciate you taking the time to come on today, Kiki.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Awesome.
Thank you for the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a good one.
Bye. Have a good day.
Awesome. So that's our ecosystem spotlight for today. We really gave you a huge flavor of, what's coming for the IoTeX network, right? We talked to Cartesi, Covalent, IoTeX Pad, Swash, and Blade Warrior. All of them are working on different kind of parts or different sectors of crypto, right? So just to recap, Cartesi, off-chain computing environment, letting people do verifiable computations on-chain with any programming language, right? Running a Linux VM off-chain environment. And for those that want to see the potential of what this looks like, definitely go check out the results of our Ideathon, where we got a lot of different ideas about how IoTeX and Cartesi technology can be combined together. We also talked to Covalent. Covalent is an awesome blockchain indexing project where they grab data from all the top networks, make it available in a kind of a queryable environment, and allow people to cross-reference data from multiple chains or just visualize the data in a cleaner way of one specific blockchain. So really excited that IoTeX is the newest addition to the Covalent ecosystem, and stay tuned for more ideathons and hackathons with Covalent as well, coming soon in the future. We had IoTeX Pad, someone that's been, this project's been building a lot of buzz in the IoTeX network lately as the first native launchpad to IoTeX. And hopefully we'll see a lot of projects crowdfunding for their brand new projects, and really appreciate their tiered model where it gives equal opportunity for participants to join in on these IDOs. Everyone wants to be a initial shareholder in some of the hottest projects coming on board to IoTeX. So stay tuned for IoTeX Pad's official launch, and they're also running their IDO, I think, next week. So stay tuned for that. Had a great conversation with Chloe from Swash. We really ideologically aligned on the importance of giving users ownership and control over their data, right? And on top of which we can build entirely new data ecosystems, or also enable a data marketplace where people can earn for their valuable data. So as IoTeX is generating heaps of data from machines, we hope to see this listed soon on Swash Marketplace. So really excited to work with Swash as well. And finally, Kiki gave us a really great end-to-end demo of the Blade Warrior game that's coming out soon on IoTeX. And the evolution of GameFi is really a spectacular sight to see, right? This play-to-earn model started by Axie and now expanding into all these professional game developers that are really trying to embrace Web3 and build Web3 into their games. So it's really exciting to see that as well. So with that is our ecosystem spotlights for today. A bit of a longer one today, but as so many projects that are coming to IoTeX, it's hard not to welcome more and more projects on. So if you guys want to see any other projects jump on this ecosystem spotlight, hit me up or hit those projects up to reach out to me. And we're really excited to see all this new stuff happening, right? So with that, I'm going to sign off for today. Really appreciate everyone joining. And I'm going to leave you with some videos about the IoTeX platform. But until next time, we have a big week coming up next week. So stay tuned for some really good stuff. And we'll see you guys later. Thanks.
Our world is powered by billions of smart devices that generate an incredible amount of data and value. This phenomenon is called the Internet of Things. or IoT. From smart homes and wearables to connected vehicles and renewable energy, the IoT is impacting everyone and everything. But today, the multi-trillion-dollar IoT industry is owned by centralized corporations that control our devices, mine our data, and earn huge profits with no value returned to users. IoTeX is here to change the status quo and build a future that empowers users, not corporations. We envision a world where everyday people can own and control their devices, as well as the data and value they generate. A vision we call the Internet of Trusted Things. By connecting the physical and digital worlds, IoTeX allows us to secure the data from billions of smart devices and extract value from it with next-gen dApps. Join IoTeX as we democratize access to the new machine economy and return power to the people. IoTeX is more than just a blockchain. It's a full-stack platform that enables trusted data from trusted devices for use in trusted applications. The IoTeX platform combines innovations in blockchain, identity, oracles, and hardware to make real-world data available to blockchain dApps for the first time. Secure hardware captures and signs real-world data that anyone can verify and trust. Real-world data oracles bring this verifiable data to the blockchain in a trusted manner. Decentralized identity enables humans and devices to own their data as digital assets. And blockchain enables users to earn and trade digital assets across the ecosystem of IoTeX dApps. The IoTeX blockchain is lightning fast and EVM compatible, allowing builders to port over Solidity-based dApps and tokens in minutes and enjoy ultra-low fees and 5-second block times with instant finality. Governed by a global network of delegates, IoTeX is the trusted and decentralized foundation to power your next big idea. The IoTeX network is home to an ecosystem of dApps, tokens, and services that connect the physical and digital worlds. By bringing real-world data to blockchain, IoTeX enables an entirely new category of use cases where users can earn digital assets based on their real-world data and actions. All types of machines can be registered to IoTeX and deliver facts about the real world to the blockchain, a concept we call proof of anything. From proof of activity to fuel decentralized healthcare, to proof of safety to settle insurance contracts, to proof of green energy to fuel renewable energy marketplaces. Real-world data will change everything for blockchain and spark a new era of innovation on IoTeX. With IoTeX, we can unlock liquidity for real-world assets and create brand new digital assets that will flow freely across our network of on-chain applications, information markets, and mining farms. And thanks to cross-chain bridges to Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, and other top blockchains, our digital assets will interoperate with the blockchain universe for endless possibilities. Join our global community of pioneers and help shape the future decentralized economy. Welcome to IoTeX.